traction the ball away. Into the bottom corner. Boyce goes wide. Almost off the track entirely. Nikita's got the DRS while on down towards turn 1. Has she got enough pace to pass the Ferrari? But XRL buzzing defense to the inside. Nikita passes a runner on the outside. Oh! Nikita goes too fast to the inside and Boyce takes her into turn 2. Boyce sneaks into 4th place and then drives around the outside of Fuzzy round turn 3. Absolutely magnificent there from Ivan Boyce.
XRL LGS once again all over his gearbox. Seriously, these two should just get a room and tie the knot now the way they've been together through this whole race. This is unbelievable. Heading into turn 2, XRL are just going to have the inside line, but that's going to get Tom 65 to tie the line through 3. LGS though is not intimidated, brushing his tyre on the outside of the wing there. That's really brave stuff, but he takes the position, driving clean round the outside.
Behind him, Daz and Mini Ninja, so Mini Ninja's dropped one, so Crazy Fish making some good progress, but Daz running deep to get such a bad X out of this corner, and Lisbon Lions is going to look to do him around the outside.
Round outside.
He's going to have the DRS
oh my
as well.
days. What a move. How has he got the traction? Honestly, three wide. Oh. Lisbon Lions looking to go around the outside. He's going a bit deep though. But I think he's going to get them.
A little bit of nudging.
He's going to get the both of them.
He's going to get, yeah, he's got the inside here going into the corner. And yeah, that's a pretty fair move from Lisbon Lions. Good evening and welcome to the Excite Racing League F1 division. We're back after a couple of weeks away and we're at the round 4, which is the Bahrain Grand Prix live at Sakir. This was a very interesting race last year with Sean Bean picking up the win after F1 Nige destroying his car on a bollard at turns 9 and 10 with only a few laps to go of the race. First Hamilton picking up second and Smithy Lad getting third place. F1 Nige taking the pole position now. Mr. Ice Cold Andy has already lost connection in the lobby. But TRL Button looking to make it 4 wins from 4 tonight, and well, he's just had an absolutely fantastic start to the season, so expect big things from him. Others like Lewis Hamilton, Velexity and co, including Fearless, may well have a go. But we're now going to get into the action, so I hope you enjoy it, and here it all comes.
Lost connection. As I know Mr. Indigo, I've got on board with him, going through laps, through turns 8 and 9 towards the start of Sector 3. Where are we on track at the moment, Dan?
It is. Oh, sorry, I had my mic on mute. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with his connection tonight. I think I don't understand what's going on.
And Mr. Indigo going all 4 tyres over the inside there, almost hit the bollard, and he's actually going into the box, so he's not going to gain any advantage whatsoever. Ian Unstoppable, 131.1, good enough for P8 at the moment. In P7, XRL Bummers, a 131.0. Then in P6, a 130.9 from LGS. In 5th place, I got Tom 65, 130.8. Then in P4, Reese 26 on 130.6 for Lotus. 3rd place, XRL Fields on a 130.3. Then in 2nd place in the moment, Velocity on a 130.1. I'm currently at the head of the snake, as I said before, is Boots. Stuart B949 on a 130.1. So all the field seems quite close at the moment, about a second covering them.
I mean, Stuart and Alexi both pretty close, obviously, right at the front. We haven't yet to see what Button can do. But yeah, Fearless only 2 tenths off, 5 tenths to Reese. Reese has been a bit off the boil of late, but that's not a bad bang for that anyway, with another 9 minutes left in the qualifying session to go. It's decent.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a long time for these guys to get out there, especially if you set your times on the prime tyres, like a couple of runs such as Bobbers have done. So if you change to the option tyre, which will probably gain you at least half a second, if not even more. So these drivers may yet find themselves getting much further afield. Alex Cullen's just come back online. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him back in here tonight. But needless to say, his season carrying on in a terrible fashion, having got a debut championship last year, finding himself really far behind his rival TRL Button at the moment. Meanwhile, Sidekick Taco out on an out lap, not yet started, and neither is TRL Button. So we'll wait round about with Sidekick Taco for now, as all the other guys have gone back into the pits in a massive cluster. There's about 9 cars that have all gone in at the same time. Surely you want to give yourself a lot of space so you don't get dirty air and tune up your tyres. Me as a driver yourself, Dan, in GP2, what's your take on that?
Sorry, just sending a message to someone in the GP2 division, so... right, so say this again. Sorry.
I was just saying, like, all the drivers, a lot of them seem to go into the box at the same time. About 9 drivers suggesting they were all on track right next to each other. As a driver of one of the higher echelons of the actual league here, surely you want to leave a lot of space and avoid getting damage to your tyres and dirty air. As Psychic Taco was one of the McLarens getting totally out of his way into turn 1. Good driving from the McLaren driver, making sure he doesn't come out of the pits and cause a collision. We saw the nasty side effects of that between Pastor Maldonado and Esteban Gutierrez in this season's real-life race.
I can see where you're coming from with a lot of drivers sort of near each other on track. But on the outlap, you do try and work a gap between one another. So I don't see it as too much of an issue, but... yeah, I mean, everyone does the same amount of laps. Usually everyone just does 1 flying lap, then pits. I'm a little bit different. I like to do 2 flying laps if I can. Just give me a little bit more of a window if I make a mistake. And therefore my second lap is usually a bit quieter. So that's how I try and get around that.
Coming across at turn 10, I've seen the bollard already in October a couple of times. Now, we saw in last season's F1 race with F1 Nige winning by a country mile, cutting that corner and actually finding his chassis rotten off. So these drivers have got to be careful that they don't follow the same mistake here.
Well, yep, who can't forget that? And Sean going on to win the race in the end, I believe.
Exactly, when he was double down in between GP2 and F1, showing that he really can't write up the pace of anybody here in this division.
Yeah,
As Psychic Taco goes around the final corner, misses the apex a little bit, but goes onto the outside curbing, and he goes to the final line of 130.121. That might actually be a dead heat. It is. That's a dead heat with Stuart B949. They've dead heated for a provisional pole. Sensational stuff.
Let's hope no one goes faster than that now, because that would be pretty cool.
Well, 130.160 is P3 for velocity, but I think he's just started a flying lap now, going through turns 1 and 2, gets the inside of it, and he's on the prime tyres though. So if he's got that kind of pace on the primes, that's a sensational decent advantage there. On the stream, meanwhile, Sir Clarkford asking, has the lap guide been shown over on Channel 1, or is there not going to be one for this track? That's over to you, Bernie, because I wasn't actually on track. I was on the stream at the time when you were doing the pre-show.
Yeah, well, we didn't do a pre-show this week, mainly because I wanted to do the pre-show mainly on the go-karting day that we had last week. We'll explain that hopefully next week. I've only just received the footage from that, so we'll do that as part of the pre-show. But no, track guide has not been there. Unfortunately, my room is currently the floorboards and the computer and Xbox is sitting on the floorboards in the corner. They're still getting redecorated. So I've been rather busy this week, taking advantage of the week off.
Just watched velocity going through turn 11 at the end of the second DRS zone, and before the corner he had both his right tyres hovering outside the line, collecting lots of sand and dust as he goes totally off the track. At turn 12 there, completely messed that up. Went all 4 tyres outside onto the sand. Not something you want to be doing here. As I head into the final corner, he has to get on the brakes a little bit during the middle there. Gets a bit too hot towards the curb. Now, has he gained any pace on his previous time? DRS Open, a 130.044. He gains only 1.5 hundredths, but that's enough for provisional pole at the moment. The dead heaters of Stewart's B949 and also the Psychic Taco are both in P2 and 3. But I'm really amazed at how close the pace has been. Because Lewis Hamilton, he's on his what now, on a 130.8. That's only good enough for P7.
I can't believe that. I can't even do them times.
Well, heading through the final corner, Hamilton gets a bit close to the apex, and is actually going into the box. So he's obviously just reached the end of his hot lap. XRL OGS, meanwhile, just about to start a lap. There goes the DRS, and once again, 25.03546.540.04. If you know any idea what that is, please tell us. I've no idea. But he goes into turn 1, gets a bit of a lock up there, LGS, in the Ferrari. Makes a bit of a mistake, it's a little wide, but manages to correct it as we're into the final 5 minutes of qualifying now. Been frenetic stuff so far.
It has been on board with Fearless now. He's on a lap time of 30.2, good enough for the current P4. For that time, it's ridiculous how the lap time has improved between seasons. F1 Nige taking last season's pole with a high 30, and it's now low 30, and that's only good enough for 4. It's ridiculous how.
Well, speaking of low 30, TRO Gutierrez saying on my streams that so far it's just some really fun stuff. A dead heat, wow. Well, yeah, it's very rare. I mean, the last time I remember any serious dead heat was back at Jerez in 1997, when Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Jacques Villeneuve, and Michael Schumacher all dead heated for first to third place. And Damon Hill famously got that TWROs out of nowhere into fourth. Fantastic stuff. Well, meanwhile, XRL OGS heading through turns 11 and 12 into 13, getting a little out of shape there. Had to do a second bite of the cherry to get the car in under traction, and he now heads down towards the final corners. It's like 14 and 15 together. It's really just one corner. I don't know why they're listed separately. Going over the inside. Oh, there's a bit of a jump on the curb there. Almost throws him off line. Oh, nice called Andy once again. Losing connection.
That's really
as
odd.
LGS improves to 130.255.
That's really odd because Andy just said he was going to get his internet cable to connect. So he's doing.
Maybe he's been on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but he said that was when he joined, before he joined the game the last time he joined. He said, "Give me another invite because I'm going to connect my cable up." He's connected his cable up and he's still losing connection.
Interestingly, restarted his flying lap, went through turns 2 and 3, and then kind of got a massive oversteer moment as Ice Cold Andy's back amongst the living once again. But so far, he's having quite a lot of reliability problems in that car of his, and if he carries on in the race, he's not going to make it through the desert heat here in Bahrain. Heading through turns 7 and 8 there as Reese gets very, very edgy on the grip, and his car seems to be cramming a lot. Almost like it's lagging out of position, rather than actually taking the corners the way you'd expect. Into 9 and 10, using the braking point at the end of turn 9, top for 10. And look how wide he's gone there. He's made the classic mistake, hit the outside curb, and that's his lap completely ruined.
That was Reese you were on board with, wasn't it?
That's right. Meantime, top 65 on the Mercedes, heading into turn 6 and 7. The high hairpin corner gets nicely through that turn 8. Gets a little bit of sand on the tyres, though, at the start of turn 9. Into the braking zone for 10. Doesn't make the same mistake as Reese. Goes a little too close to the inside curb, though. So easy to spin the car there if you're not careful. Oh, with the DRS zone. And strangely, he actually dropped the DRS. He keeps on closing and shutting. Is he, like, having a lagging problem here? Looks like he's got a lagging car as well. This is not looking good for the race viewers. We already lost Ice Cold Andy 3 times, and I've now seen Reese 26's car behaving very strangely, and Tom 8625 has also done the same. We could be in for a bit of an attrition rate in the race here.
Right, so
I mean, look, Lewis Hamilton down in P9.
He's on the prime
130.8.
He's on the prime.
But
it's a decent time.
But like you say, P9 on a 130.8.
I know.
That's insane.
Quicker than last year's pole position time. That's good enough for 9. It just shows how much people have improved on this game.
Well, the question at the moment is coming, where's TRO Button? Predictably, he's gone provisional pole on a 129.5. He's like, there's the bar, jump over that. And I think that may have actually been set on the prime tyres. How depressing is that?
He told me he wasn't going to qualify. He lies to us. He said tyre wear is apparently a big thing and that he wasn't going to qualify, but
XRL Phil has just got held up by one of the Saubers there. I don't know if that was actually Lewis Hamilton heading into turn 10. And yeah, once again, on this second DRS straight, his car's doing this. I'm assuming it's a DRS glitch. where it's opening and closing all the time. That's not something I'm aware of, but I've seen it on a few cars now so far in this qualifying session. I mean, is that something you're aware of?
No, I haven't seen it though. I can remember the GP2 race round here last year, or last season, and it was quite poor. But there was really bad lag, there was cars that weren't real cars causing mischief.
Yes, I remember that. I don't want to speak too much of it because of some comments that were said. A 129.5 though, absolutely phenomenal pace has come out of nowhere from X-Velocity to go second place. Only 1/100th of a second slower than TRL Button. This might not be a walkover for McLaren after all, because Velocity steps up to the mark. Now Velocity, meanwhile, heading into turn 10, gets a little shaky and laggy on the inside there, but manages to keep it. Heading over the DRS line, his flap is not open. Has he got a DRS problem? I don't know. But it looks like to me that's going to be the end of qualifying. I don't know what his lap is, but we'll give you the provisional results for now. As at the top, his eyes come down, he's lost connection again. That's it. He's not going to be in the race.
But then was that obvious? Wasn't that a bit obvious that was going to happen?
TRL Button though, 129.533 in second. XRL Fearless, it wasn't Velocity, it was Fearless. A 129.542, 9/1000ths of a second behind. That's literally the width of a piece of cigarette paper between them. Then in third place, got Velocity on the ground for Lotus on a 130.04. Then we've got Stewart on a 130.121 and Psychic Taco the exact same time. Nothing between them whatsoever. LGS on a 130.255, Reese 26 on 135.49, Lewis Hamilton on a 135.80. He's improved, and that's still only enough for 8th place. That's a second between 1st and 8th. Then in 9th, Tom on a 130.865, and Enema Mr. Indigo rounding off the top 10 on a 138.76. So still only 1.3 seconds covering the top 10. That's incredibly close.
A lot of different strategies going on as well. I mean, I think there's a few, like Lewis Hamilton down there's on the prime tyre. I think Tom 625 is as well. There's quite a lot of prime tyre runners. I think the people at second to about 6 all on options. Then you got a lot of guys on the primes. And I don't know what button's on. I didn't see what tyres he was on, but you said he might have been on the prime.
I think he possibly was, but I do not know what Fearless was on. Meanwhile, Seclaford saying on the stream, having said that, how close? Whoa. Well, not much else need to be said, really, because that was one of the closest I've ever seen in qualifying. I'd say right at the top, there was nothing between them, and then, of course, look at 4th and 5th. Exactly nothing between them. So these guys are all on each other's pace. Now, it only takes one of these guys to pit one lap earlier, get the undercut, and we'll be looking at a complete Russian roulette as to who's going to be coming over the line for the top podium positions.
Exactly. Fearless is a bit of an unknown quantity. I think all of them are. I haven't really been on this week to see who the pace is.
The only one who's not an unknown quantity is TRL Button, because once again, he's showing the absolute pace out front. But if he's got tyre wear problems, who's to say that one of the guys, like going back to the mid-pack, going like to Stuart B949, who dead heated with Psychic Taco, who's to say they might not get that wear that gives them that crucial extra lap to be able to eke out the performance? Waiting on my screen. Are we in danger of losing someone here? Because my car's stuck in the
Buttons
ghost.
out. Buttons out.
I've just lost you. It's saying you've been kicked from the race.
Oh, that's great.
On my screen, you're showing as P1, TRL Buttons in P2, and you just get out of the race.
Oh, maybe it was me then.
And Andy, unfortunately, you have missed the cut. I mean, you seem to have problems with your connection there. Was it really difficult?
I don't know. It's just been all over the place for the past few minutes. I don't know what the hell it is. I've got my internet cable plugged in, so I can't understand what's the problem.
No, I don't know.
We did see quite a few other cars. Sorry, I keep going across you now. Carry on.
No one else in my house is using the internet, so I don't know what's going on.
But to say, I mean, we did see a few cars crabbing and like getting a bit out of position in many ways. Did you actually get onto the track at all?
Nope. I was disconnected as soon as on the loading screen.
Well, massive commiserations. I mean, unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do about it. But to actually not make the Grand Prix, that's making this season a bit of a nightmare.
Well,
do you reckon you got a chance to catch up in Europe?
I'm spectating.
You're spectating?
Formula One.
Okay, I appear to have lost Ice Cold Andy. Yep, he's gone. We've actually lost him there, so...
I don't think it's his connection to the button, I don't think it's his connection to the people in the game, I just think it's his internet. I mean, how can you explain him losing 8 or 9 times in like 15 minutes?
Welcome to Formula.
But we also heard him there. Oh, now he's back again.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
This is getting crazy. I think the best we could do really, Andy, is just try and show we do some more connection tests or something towards the end.
Well, Nutters is a fine host. Nutters has been a fine host for Button.
But it's our Button hosted tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, Nutters isn't here this week.
I've just realised everything. You see the races that Button was hosting last year. I disconnected from them also.
You've got a point.
Well, there is a common point there. It could be something that's caused it. But the unfortunate issue we've got is that we are at race time. And all we can do is say commiserations on missing the race.
How do you think the European season will go for you, Andy?
Haven't got a clue. Like, just hated. I'm glad I didn't do Bahrain anyway. Just hated that circuit so much when I was there. Probably Monaco or something like that before I start to get back to the sort of pace I was in last season.
Okay. Alright, Andy, well, commiserations on what's happened. But we're going to have to get out to the track now, so thank you for your comments and best luck in Spain.
I'll probably just be focusing on the Classics Championships now, so because it's gone, any title hopes I had.
How many races have you got into the Classics so far?
2, and I've won both of them, so...
Okay, well, in the meantime then, thank you for your comments there, Andy. Commiserations on what's happened. Obviously, the season's not over until the end. Anything can happen, so it might be worth hanging on and trying to aim for that. But right now, let's focus on the race here at Sakhir in Bahrain. Our TRL Button qualified on pole, according to... I've been asked to name the difference between Grosjean and Pasta. One's getting points and one keeps crashing out. I can't. Is there any? Oh, one's French, one's Venezuelan. I don't know. Well, what are the differences do we need to talk about? I could go on all day about that one. Yeah, I've read it up. So we've got another about 2 seconds, and then we're going to be out on the track here at Sakhir, in just outside the capital of Manama in Bahrain, for the first of 2 races this season in the desert. And this one is not under lights. So let's see what happens with a baking hot track and high tyre wear. It is a long road. According to my screen, we've got 14 riders. That's not true because Andy's actually out of the race. That's it, yeah. Right, so once the 5 lights go out, we will be racing here at the capital city of Manama. And it's lights out and away we go. Well, TRL Button's in the lead at the moment. He's currently got XRL Fearless in the Red Bull, trying to go around the outside on the option tyres. And TRL Button trying to resist on the prize. XRL Fearless is really have to hang on while his sister teammate is not going to be wrong. It's that Stu B949, the sister McLaren, who's already up to P3. It is indeed. So Stu B949 has made a great start. Reached 26 meanwhile. Oh, Stu B949 is going to try to drive around the outside. We saw Hamilton and Rosberg doing this for real in 2014's race. But XRL Fearless just hangs on. He's got a bit of a problem here now because Stu B949 is trying to get the stake on him. He goes wide though at turn 7. And Velocity, meanwhile, in P4 is under pressure as both his teammate, Reece 26, and also the sister Mercedes of Psychic Taco in P5. Reece 26 will go around the outside towards turn 10. Thinks better of it. Psychic Taco was also going on the inside of 10. And one overtake for Reece 26. Going around the outside of turn 10 into the DRS zone. Meanwhile, XRL, I think that's XRL, yes. in the sister Ferrari, trying to counter around the outside too. And Reese 26 once again getting in the wars, battling for P4. But he's had to back out on the move there on his teammate Velocity. He's running, yeah, exactly. Velocities has made a big mistake. We saw Felipe Massa do this for real in the Williams this season, and it's definitely one of those tracks where if you get the launch right, as Reese tries to go on the outside, he squeezes his teammate there, and he has to back out of the move. I think there's a bit of damage actually. I'm sure I saw an end plate moving. Well, Velocity now is under big pressure because Psychic Taco in the Mercedes trying to get close towards turn 1. Psychic Taco seems to have the better straight line speed, and he's doing that and use Reese as the extra slingshot into the tight turn 1. And Reese 26 goes off to try and make a mistake. Velocity's got a chance to sweep round the outside of turn 3, but Velocity goes wide himself. Psychic Taco's lining up the pair of them towards turn 4 in the Mercedes. He's already lined up alongside with Velocity. Can he follow Reese 26 through? No, Velocity's got a tighter line. Reese goes wide as if he's going onto the 2010 circuit, but just about hangs on. Moving further forward, we've got a bit of a scrap already going on here because we've got Stuart B949 all over the back of XRL Fearless, and Fearless Muir's got a gap of about a second to TRL Button. So TRL Button doing the Sebastian Vettel, trying to get away in these early laps and break DRS. Stuart B949 almost went swearing to the back of XRL Fearless, caught out by the braking zone of the Red Bull. So Stuart B949 was falling back for a little while. Moving back through the field, we've got Race 26, who's now ahead of his teammate Velocity, but Velocity's all over the back of him on the prime tyres now, so he's got the longer tyre wear. XRL OGS fighting as hard as he can in P6, with Psychic Taco, the big loser, after that early lap mistake, crossing him down to P7. He'll stop but quietly hanging himself together in P8. And we've got XRL Bobbers heading a chain of 5 cars, because behind him is Enema Mr. Indigo in the Red Bulls. One of the cars has gone off the track. But meanwhile, Jambo is under big pressure because already the Mercedes has gone clean past him. Jambo's trying to follow him back through, but Tom625 in P11 is scrapping with Jambo, who's looking to try and take him in P12. These guys are out on the points and battling like it means the world to them. But Tom625 just hangs on into turn 1.
TRL Button's starting to make a bit of a gap at the front to Fearless and Stewart, who are fighting it out for P2 and 3. Those three are starting to make a bit of a gap to 4th place, who I believe is Reese 26, who's done very,
Psychic
very well.
Taco's got a great run of XRL LGS out of turn 4. LGS got poor traction off the corner, so Psychic Taco now is lying at the back of that Ferrari. But unfortunately, the Lotuses of Reese 26 and Velocity are backing that Ferrari into him, so he's not really getting the clean air, and he's not getting the tow he needs to make the move, but DRS will be available, as LGS makes a mistake, as wide at turn 10, and Psychic Taco almost sideswipes, wants to get out of the gas. DRS available, and finally Taco deploys, and his Kers attacking down towards turn 11. He's got the inside line, got to be careful he doesn't drift wide here, as LGS tries to go around the outside. That's brave, but he has to give the move up to Taco for now.
Good overtake from Taco, using the Kers wisely there, but he's now going to be a sitting duck to LGS, as LGS has got a full bar of Kers. He's going to look...
And Taco's made a mistake at turn 12 as well. Turn 12, he went very wide, Taco. As a result of that, LGS was right close the gap here, and if he uses his Kers to punch off turn 14 and 15, he'll have a great chance of DRS down towards turn 1 as Taco drifts to the inside curve. There goes the Kers now from LGS, the extra 80 horsepower, and look at the gap, it's closing already. DRS wide open on that Mercedes, and this should be a candy for a baby move here, providing LGS doesn't make a mistake into turn 1. Gets on the brakes quite early there, keeps to the centre line. We saw him do that very well in China, and he's made that move work.
In Unstoppable and XRL Bobbert right behind them now. And Taco making the move on LGS straight back, and that's a nice easy.
Stuart B949 attacking XRL Fearless. He's all over the back of that Red Bull like a rash, and as a result of that, Race 26 is catching up to the pair of them as well, as TRL Button now has kind of gone into Sunday drive mode, gone ahead and thinks, go a nice long cruise, save my tyres, let these guys trip over each other. As Stuart B949 is being heavily harried by Reese 26 in the Lotus, heading through turn 9 into 10. Reese staying on the brakes early, trying to avoid being drifted wide by both the Red Bull and the McLaren. He's got the Kers. DRS flap has not opened. He's not deployed his DRS. Has he got a fault? Heading into turn 11, Stuart B949 thinking about Fearless. Reese 26 decided to hold off by doing the pair of them down towards turn one, because those two are getting very close together.
There wasn't much point using the DRS there. It's quite a short.
Oh, big mistake with Stu B949. Went over the inside of turn 13 there, clattered the bollard, but was lucky to not damage his car. We know the bollards here at Sakhir can be very damaging on this game, and you've got to make sure you treat them with a lot of respect. And there's also a bollard in the middle of the racing line. That's not convenient. As all, meanwhile, XRL Phil's got to be careful. He's made more than one change of direction there. Heading out towards turn one, and he's changed direction again. Stu B949, though, has gone to the outside. Can he get the car stopped in time? As Reese 26 looks at the inside, XRL Fearless almost understeered into the side of Stewart, but Stewart gets through to take P3, and Reese 26 now is attacking the Red Bull down towards turn 4, but I think a bit of curse is deployed there by Fearless to get away from him, and actually Fearless is thinking about the inside of 4 on Stewart. These guys are all literally tripping over each other as Stewart goes off the track, again trying to go on the 2010 layout, and Reese has to watch as Fearless filters back into line.
Close stuff from these three. Fearless is really starting to lose the tyres though now. He's lost a position and he's been lapping quite poorly in comparison to the guys around him. And actually, looking at that, there's a big group of 4 or 5 cars really closing in, and you have to... Oh, but Lexi's run wide at turn 9 and 10. And
you just gave him the commentator's curse. You mentioned the 4 cars closing in, and already he's lost the position to Psychic Taco and the Mercedes. Heading on towards turn 11, he's under big pressure here, as both XRL, LGS and Unstoppable, who for once is living up to his name, trying to get close to the walls of these guys, and Velocity's just done enough for now, and Taco, he's going to be the big pressure to turn 1, but all eyes are on second to fourth here, because Reese 26 is right behind Fearless, who's right behind Stuart B949. These guys separated by maybe 0.2 of a second. As Stuart makes a mistake, goes wide, XRL Fearless locks his tyres, so a great opportunity for Reese here, deploys his curse, heading into the slipstream, all 3 cars going to the pit wall, DRS deployed from XRL Fearless and Reese. Fearless and the Red Bull getting closer and closer to the back of Stewart, goes to the outside line. Reese follows him, he's trying to use the Red Bull. Oh, the collision! Bit of contact there, and then Stewart wags as well. And actually Reese looks on the inside, but that's an illegal overtake. All 4 tyres were over the white line. Reese will have to give that position back.
What? I thought that Reese is in 4th.
He's in 3rd place on my screen. No, actually, now Stewart's just lapped in front of him. Right behind XR Fails as Reese makes a mistake at turn 4 and goes off the track, so we're now back to a 2-car scrap for 2nd place.
Yeah, Reese just getting wider, going towards the old layout there. But Lexi's now right on his back of his teammate, and we've got this 4-car scrap that's right on them again. Psychic Taco in the middle with, I think that's LGS and Ian Unstoppable, but then there's another 3 behind them. Just one driver or couple of drivers are out.
Psychic Taco goes at the inside of Velocity, who once again makes a mistake at the turn 10 hairpin. He's clearly got his braking distance wrong there, and Velocity's under big pressure now because the Ferrari of XRL LGS is closing in mightily quickly. And again, Velocity drifting wide at turn 11. He's clearly not got the grip on those prime tyres, but meanwhile, that 4-car scrap behind for 8th place. Ian will be chased very aggressively by Bobbert, who's also got Enema Mr. Indigo and Tom625 all over his diffuser.
LGS is eyeing up a move on Velexity. That gap slightly opens up on the straight as Velexity looking at a move on Psychic Taco, taking the last corner pretty slowly by all accounts. And now
LGS now spun the car. NMR, Mr. Indigo and XRL both go through. Tom625 looks like he's going to go through with DRS as well. So 3 positions lost by Ian Unstoppable by simply taking the final curve a bit too much. Meanwhile, a mistake up ahead. Someone's got off the track. Who was that? That was actually Stewart. Stewart and the McLaren's got off the track. He's now in P7, and XRL Bobbert and the Ferrari's all over him.
Are you sure that's not lag?
I'm positive, because Stewart getting very slow for turn 4. Have we got him here? Because that seemed very slow to me for turn 4, as both XRL LGS XRL Bobbert, and NMR Mr. Indigo both go through. Meanwhile, speaking of LGS, he's just ahead of his teammate, looking at the back of the Lotus of Velocity, who's staring at Psychic Taco and Reese 26. So we've got one of the bollards hanging in thin air at turn 10. It's all going off. It's crazy races here in Sakhir, Bahrain.
All of these guys are so evenly matched from 2nd to 13th. It's just the guy who's leading the race has got about a 5-second lead currently to 2nd place.
You only have to look at the... Yeah, you only have to look at Stewart, who went from P3, P2, and has really dropped out of the points by a couple of corner mistakes. I mean, he's now always been hit again as one of the Saubers. I think that was ex-Lewis Hamilton. I think Stewart might be ghosting here because he's driving very slowly. He's just been passed by 3 cars.
I've got him running P3, running at a normal pace.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
Tell me you're joking. I've got him in P12, looking at the back of Tom 625 in the Mercedes, and then ahead of them is ex-Lewis Hamilton, eyeing up Ian Unstoppable with the DRS, and he goes to the inside towards the pit lane to make a move into turn 1. Ian Unstoppable using the brakes and just about hanging on into turn 1. Ex-Lewis Hamilton evidently not confident on his brakes, and a great piece of defensive driving there from Ian Unstoppable.
Right, so I'm on board with Reese, who's chasing down Stewart for P3 in the final podium place. Let's see how this one goes, because I think, yeah, I don't know.
Right, I'm gonna have to leave because I've not got him there. I've got Enema Mastroni going P8, chasing down XRL Bobbitt, and then we've got XRL's yes in P6. Then Psychic Taco in 5th, looking at the back of Velocity, who's then behind Reese.
You've just got everyone up a position. That's what's happened. It's
Tom 65 destroyed his car. Has he hit the bollard?
He's hit the bollard.
I think he's hit the bollard of death, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We did see F1 Nige do it last season, ironically driving for Mercedes.
That's right. Now, will that be a safety car?
XRL Fearless making a great move potentially on TRL Button. He's right up to him, heading into the final corner. XRL Fearless, has he got DRS here? He's going to go past. Has TRL Button let him through to use the DRS here? Now, Tom 65 has gone, and now TRL Button has lost out big time, and XRL Fearless on my screen is in the lead.
I thought that he's about 3 or 4 seconds behind the leader, but I'm quite surprised there's no safety car. I thought there would be, you know. That turn 9 and 10, that's such a tight corner. Right. The car destroys itself.
Okay, I do apologise, viewers. I'm going to quit the session and rejoin.
Can you join?
So in the meantime, because of the issues of where positions the cars are, I can't have it where we're commentating on different races. It's not fair on the fans.
Did you need an invite, or are you going to join through session?
I'm going to try and join through the Xbox Live part. I'll do it that way.
Yeah. So I've got the 2 Lotuses resuming their battle, and Valexi's right behind Reese. These 2, they're about 3 or 4 seconds off the back of second place runner Fearless. But Reese has done surprisingly well, but those tyres now will surely be getting to the end of their life. 9 laps in. DRS open from Velexity, and I don't think he'll make the move. It's too short a straight. He's making sure he gets a good line into this corner though, turn 11. And gets a great exit. He used a bit of curves and is looking to go around the outside, the sweeping right-hander. Reese trying to hold on. He's got the inside line, but he can't do it. Reese fights back. And Reese going to keep the position. Curves used by Velexity. No, he decides not to. We've got Taco right behind these, 3 of them fighting for what is essentially the final podium space. Taco looking possibly at Velexity there. No, he won't. Here goes Velexity now. Curves open and his teammate is in. Uses the toe. Don't really see the point of that. I mean, it's not that. It's not going to gain him loads of time, but now he's under pressure from Psychic Taco.
Meanwhile, I've now got XRL LGS in the lead.
What? Oh, God.
No, I've not. No, it's just reset itself. It put me in, he's in P5. And I've got Psychic Taco all over the back of the Lotus, heading out towards turn 4. I believe that's Reese in the Lotus there. No, it's actually Velocity. Going through turn the inside, and Psychic Taco looks like he's got the drive through 3. Can he hold on through 5 and 6? As Velocity tries to fight back with Sergio Perez and turns the button down. That was unbelievable. Where did Velocity find the grit to move that? That's sensational driving. Psychic Taco just let him through almost.
Yeah, that's how it seems, isn't it? Oh God, that's an exceptional move because it's so tight. It's usually sort of single file around that.
Oh, but Velocity going wide through turn 10, and that's going to give Psychic Taco a chance on the DRS straight down towards turn 11. Meanwhile, XRL LGS in the Ferraris, looking at the pair of these two, hoping there'll be a mistake from one of them so he can go sweeping past into turn 11 as that Psychic Taco watches Velocity just keeping the car on the island, nearly drifting wide there, but Velocity defensively driving very, very well so far. Well, Velocity now taking a wider line into turn 13, and Psychic Taco has to filter in behind him.
Sean Bean saying he's supposed to be doing maths questions for revision. He can't keep his eyes off the racing. Well, he should have raced then, Sean.
Well, meanwhile, big mistake there from Velocity. Gets the inside bollard towards the final corner, turns 14-15. And now DRS will be available to Psychic Taco, but he's used all his curves a bit too early. And at the same time, Velocity pulled out a very, very big gap here. Now I think he's just going to retain the position.
Comfortably as well. Those option tyres of Tacos are definitely starting to just go now. He's
and XRL LGS has really started to close up now, getting close to the back of him.
Though. He's on the options as well. You would expect, maybe he's just got better tyre life, LGS, but...
We've seen that traditionally. He likes to go for the more conservative approach, LGS, thinking about the marathon versus the sprint. On the stream, meanwhile, Ciara Gutierrez saying this is ace for overtaking. That's a big mistake there for Psychic Taco. Goes a bit too wide as Jambo's now retired.
Well, yeah, I know his pace hasn't been there. He's not been very confident here at all this week.
Well,
it wouldn't be surprised
we're in a real demolition derby now, though, aren't we? Oh, big mistake with Velocity, goes totally off the track at turn 10. And Psychic Taco goes, thank you very much, I will have that. Now, in the meantime, XRL LGS is going to have the DRS. No, he's not. Now, that's interesting. I thought LGS would have had DRS there. XRL LGS looking at the back of that Lotus, who's lost this ground here on Psychic Taco. But Taco's got to make sure that he doesn't wear those tyres out too much.
Bobbert is now starting to close right in on LGS. They're on varying strategies for the first stint, but LGS making these option tyres go quite a long way. I mean, the primes will be pitting in the next 5-6 laps, so...
Velocity, meanwhile, looking at the back of Psychic Taco. He's going to line him up for a move there. He's seen a lot of his curves, and he's looked how close he is already. There's the DRS line, there goes the flap, and he's going to breeze past that Mercedes. But the question is, can he get the car stopped before the corner? Psychic Taco tries to defend to the outside and then cut back underneath him at turn 1. As meanwhile the Ferraris in the interstream duel, as XRL Bobbers has got past his teammate. XRL Bobbers has made the move.
Those prime tyres starting to give the performance by the looks of it then.
Psychic Taco looking to get a tighter line on the back here of Velocity, heading for turn 4. Into turns 5, 6 and 7. We've seen Velocity a bit better through here. Seems a better grip, but Taco going wide. He's got to be careful he's not doing that too much. If he does that too many times, you will be seen as extending the track. Going through turn 8, just gets a bit too much on the curb there, almost spins the car. Interestingly, Sir Clarkford reckons that Velocity's tyres have gone too far.
No.
Well, Psychic Taco's made a huge mistake. XRL Bobbers will be having that easily. And will XRL LGS be following through?
He didn't make it easier for himself, Bobbert. He nearly spun it himself on the exit, getting on the power too easily, but he just got ahead and... yeah.
Psychic Taco drifting wide, and he's gone completely off at turn 11 into 12, and now going up towards 13. I think we're going to see Taco be the first to blink here, because he seems to have lost a lot of pace all of a sudden. Look how wide he went through 13 there. LGS had to get out of the gas. And LGS is thinking about passing him and getting closer to his teammate for DRS here. He should just be in detection line. Jambo's lost connection. He's already retired from the race. Out the final corner, LGS going a little wide there. As Taco, is he good? No, Taco's not gone into the pits. No, he has. He's changed. Very late change of direction. We saw Fernando Alonso do that all the time.
Just try and get as much slipstream as possible. They seem to do that at this track for some reason. Just get as much slipstream as they possibly
can. It's interesting, isn't it? Because last season, Felipe Massa got a drive-through penalty for cutting the pit lane at Sao Paulo. Yet they seem to allow it at Bahrain. I don't understand that.
Jambo's come onto the chat box saying he's done with this game. He's not finding it enjoyable anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? I mean, when you find yourself in the wars like that, and you're at the back, it's a real problem, because the unfortunate situation you have is that you're losing points, and you're losing grip, and you're losing motivation. Well, I told Andy, he kind of underlined that, didn't he? Reese 26, meanwhile, he'd gone into the box, he's now in P9, but he's on the prime tyres, so he might potentially undercut a few cars here. Stuart B949, he looks like he's been in the pits for a fresh set of option tyres, going for the faster, going for the more aggressive. Psychic Taco out in P11 on the prime tyres. He's been undercut already by Reese, but he's quite a way off. As short as TRO Button, he's got a big gap now, because he's just going through the final corner, going wide over the line there, pushing as wide as he can. Second place is a good 4 or 5 seconds off. XRL Fearless keeping in touch, but I get the feeling we're going to see Fearless box pretty soon, and that gap will go exponentially wider.
Fearless is doing well on those option tyres though to make them last as well as he has done.
Considering the velocity is on the better wearing tyre.
These guys all pit? No, I don't think Button has pit. No, they haven't, have they?
No, but XRL Button hasn't pit, and neither has XRL Fearless. In fact, I only think Reese and Psychic Taco have so far been into the box, which is surprised at because XRL yes might have been in the box actually, because then Mr. Indigo is now in P5.
Yeah, he's just gone in. Lewis Hamilton in P6 right in the middle at the moment.
It'll stop ball being tapped by Reese 26 on the outside of turn 2, and Reese on the better gripping tyres goes let me past and takes that position. Good driving from Reese there.
Reese
moves his way up to P7.
Reese showing why he's been a champion in the past of this division. He looks really comfortable around here today.
Previous double champion, let's not forget. So that puts him in a bit of an unusual keel here because there's no one else who's actually a defending champion apart from Ice Cold Andy.
Yeah, that's true. XRL Lightning double world champion, not here. F1 Nide champion once, he's not here. Double world champion Reese and Andy are the two champions are racing. But yeah, with Andy so far this season having not the best of seasons, it's all down to Reese to try and keep the champion's name going.
Well, in the meantime, XRL Button just about to start his 15th lap here. Fastest lap of 1:35.8. And looking behind to Fearless, I'd say that's a gap about 6 out. And Fearless is actually going for the box. He decided on lap 14, enough's enough.
That's a lot of laps to do on those tyres, so he's done good.
It is. Now, the only problem is, in case he's gone too far and left himself vulnerable to the undercut, as velocity now in P2.
Whoa! That was a aggressive move from that Mercedes there, unless that's me seeing Stuart lagging, I don't know. Who was that? Psychic Taco, just flying, if that's the case. So Fearless has actually come out in front of these guys, but is behind Reese. So Reese is undercut by about 2 or 3 seconds. So
which is interesting because Fearless has gone to the option tyres. He's actually sticking with the faster rubber. Well, don't forget, he did qualify in his previous set of options, so potentially there's 16 laps there.
He's thinking, I think he's thinking two-stop. If he can get like 16, 17 laps out of them, get to 32, let's say, and then 25 on the prime, it's a lot.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a bit too slow in the final stint. If Gary Anderson was there, he'd be telling us about the Coke bottle and also about how the tyres fall away in the final 5 laps. And I get the feeling that's what Fearless would be setting himself up for if he tried to do a two-stop strategy.
Maybe he's just trying to hurt a lot of option tyres and do a short prime stint or something like that at the end. Just trying
well, that's what Andy did that last season, don't forget, the Hungaroring, and ended up winning the race by almost a full lap. So don't rule it out.
It'll be interesting to see what he can do anyway, but first he will need to overtake Reese, and that is
I can't understand the words you're saying, your mind's all over the place. Reese 26 has spun the car! He spun back into the line of the straight, he had to back off completely, and he's got to be careful when he rejoins here, he can't get in the way of that Ferrari, he's got out of the way, but he's down in P10, Reese 26 making a critical error at turn 13, LGS sweeps on through, and that's Reese's chance in the race, surely evaporated now, barring a safety car.
That is unlucky from Reese, just that curb is... Yeah, like most curbs around this track, it's just very difficult, but it's still in a decent position. It's just, yeah, that P2 is now turned into a P4 or 5 in terms of net place.
Well, don't forget, he's behind Psychic Taco, he's behind XRL LGS, he's behind XRL Fearless, he's behind a lot of guys. Don't forget, Velocity's yet to stop. Who knows where he's going to feed out? Reese 26 could be struggling to be even out of the top 6 here because the guys at the top end of the order have got a lot of pace and have shown they're able to stick their elbows out and give us some good old-fashioned night-light jewels here on the track.
So really what I was going to say is about Fearless having to get past Reese 26 as his first job he had to do. Doesn't matter because he's done that now. He's coming up to, I think that's Ian Unstoppable, who's still on his Exos Hamilton, who's still on his first stint, 16 laps on the prime, so he's doing a good job on those.
Yeah, the prime runners are going to be looking at coming in probably around lap 19, I think. Enema Mr. Indigo on the prime, he's still out there. As XRL Bullet, season P3. P2 meanwhile, Velocity, and TRL Button, he's gone through to start 17. So I reckon 19 is probably the earliest you'll see these guys on the prime tyres look to come in. But then again, who knows? Maybe they know something more about the pace as the fuel starts to burn off, and maybe the tyres last a little longer.
It'll be interesting to see what Button will do, because I don't think he'll be leading this race by the time he actually pits. I think he might be struggling to even hold second. I'm not sure how long the pit loss is here, but here goes Fearless. DRL. Oh! Oh, that's a bit of lag. I don't know what's going on, but that's...
well, he's gone past Hamilton on my screen, but Hamilton's fighting back in towards turn 1, but Hamilton's just not got the grip in those wearing tyres, and as a result of that, Fearless goes up to P5, and is now going to be looking to try and close the gap to NMR Mr. Indigo, his teammate, and that's about 5 seconds. Meanwhile, Alex Lewis Hamilton, I think he was thinking about doing a late banzai braking move there at turn 4.
The gap between Button and Velocity's not much, you know. Velocity's closing that gap at the front.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because CRO Button, he was like really monster in the gap when XRL Fearless was there. Now the Fearless is out of the way, Velocity's just been pounding laps in.
Fearless was further than the gap between the top two is now, and Velocity was a good few seconds behind.
Oh, big mistake, XRL Fearless! He's hit the curb, gone off on the DRS straight and broken his front wing! XRL Fearless has no front nose! He's in P6 and he's going to be coming back into the pits for a second stop, at least 10 laps earlier than he wanted. Still B949 and the McLaren's going to go through. XRL Fearless, it's gone to absolute disaster, hitting the outside curve at 10 and flying into the wall.
He's actually kept it onto the track very well, considering he's got no wing to aid him with downforce. But yeah, that is absolutely gutting. Only pitted a couple of laps ago, 3 or 4 laps ago.
His race is over. His only option now is to run a lot of primes and hope something happens, like a safety car, something else.
He stayed out. He stayed out.
On my screen, he had no wing and he hit the wall. He actually smashed into the wall and it came off. If I look back on my screen, yeah, he's not on my screen.
Oh, I think he just lagged into the pits for me. He actually gone down to turn 1 and then lagged into the pits.
Well, what does that tell you about connection here, folks? There, Mr. Indigo looking to close up the gap on XRL Bobbers, who's quietly having a strong race here and catching very quickly to the back of Velocity. XRL Bobbers has suddenly got himself in the mould.
Yeah, I don't really know. The guys at the front are closing in on each other. Roberts is closing in. These guys doing very, very close lap times to one another. I'm not really sure.
It's interesting the gaps kind of like seesawing around. Yeah, all the gaps seem to be seesawing around, where it's going between the really low runners and then the highs, and it's like watching a bungee rope. When you come out, you pull it out full stretch, the miles apart, then you let it go and it all contracts on each other. That's pretty much what it's like at the moment.
The way I see it is, I wouldn't have expected Mr. Indigo to be no more than 10 seconds off the race lead, and they're on the same tyre strategy as well. So these top 4, they're on the same straight. They're doing a very good job. They are going to have to pit, and they will go behind the likes of Psychic Taco. I think he'll get the race lead, with Lewis Hamilton yet to stop. LGS will be looking quite pretty. He'll be a net second, I think.
Well,
Reese with that spin.
Exactly, Reese with his spin, XRL Fearless with Klaus in the wall. These guys have thrown away their opportunities, and XRL Stewart, meanwhile, he's in P6 on the option tyres. Don't rule him out. As Psychic Taco looks at the back of Stewart B949, heading out of turns 2 and 3, heading towards turn 4, getting a good run on the back of that McLaren, driving the Mercedes. Taco doing what he can to attack here, going into turn 4. Bit of a mistake there, a bit of a wobble from Stewart, going off the line at the start of turn 5, but Psychic Taco's not close enough to attack.
Apparently, I'm seeing ghost cars on my screen.
I have not.
Position.
Well, at the moment, I'm currently on the battle with Psychic Taco in P7, and then XRX Stewart, B949. He's currently in P6, not too far behind next Lewis Hamilton in the Sauber.
I have not got that.
Evidently, you're the one who's going to have to disconnect and leave now, then, because I had it earlier on the race. And Stewart, once again, going off the track before turn 11, dipping his tyres into the sand. Why would you do that? Through 12 and 13, then we're into the tight corner at the end of these assets, turn 14. Psychic Taco closing up to the back of Stewart, but Stewart's also managed to keep ground on ex-Lewis Hamilton in the Sauber. All these guys on the prime tyres now, and interestingly, the guys who started on the prime tyres, like Velocity, are still going round. They're still pounding the laps here. Stewart now, on the option tyres, is going to have DRS on the back of Lewis Hamilton. He's getting right into the slipstream. This should be easy. But then, a little bit of seesaw and lag there. I wasn't sure he was going to have the main move. Into turn one, look up for Stewart, but he's just held it together. Psychic Taco almost classes the back of Hamilton, but just about keeps the position. Meanwhile, NMR Mr. Indigo is attacking the back of Tiara. Is that Tiara Button? Tiara Button's in second place. He's been into the pits. He's now in second place, right at the back of NMR Mr. Indigo. So Button is in on the fresh option tyres, and looking at the back of this Ferrari, it's a battle for the lead. As we head into turn 9, he's going to have much more grip, so you'd expect Button almost goes straight on before turn 10. Has to completely back out of the gas there, but he's got DRS and curves available. Heading on towards turn 11, right into the slipstream of XRL Bobbers. He's going to try a late-breaking move. Bobbers is going to try and squeeze into the inside, and then drive around the outside into 12 and 13, but TRL Button retakes the lead.
So what's that gap then? Because I've obviously been watching Ghost Cars for a little while, so I don't know who I'm meant to be running on, but all I know is TRL Button's got a decent sized gap, because second and third place, I presume, will have to be pitting for the fresh tyres.
Well, XR Bobbers has still got the lines. Oh, he clattered the inside bollard there. You felt the camera go very shaky, as if it was about to disconnect, like it had broken. But he's just about kept gap. It's within a second of TRL Button, because he's got the DRS. But will he stay there with the fresh tyres that Button's got on, versus these 21-lap-old prime tyres? You've got to give credit to Bobbert, and also to NMR Mr. Indigo.
25 laps is not out of the question when I set that up on qualifying.
Especially if you're on lower fuel. If you're on a lower fuel where you're going to have lower braking distance, there's less weight in the car, you should use, theoretically, less amount of rubber. And NMR Mr. Indigo and XRL Bobbers have both got themselves great opportunity here, because they're running net second and third. Stewart in B949 on the options has pitted, and Psychic Taco's drove right on the inside of, oh, what's going on here? Right, for those viewers watching on Channel 2, make sense of that if you can. That was the craziest lag I've ever seen between Psychic Taco and Stewart B949.
I've got him currently in P5, just chasing him.
Well, Stewart went straight on almost at turn 10, and in P5 now, Psychic Taco with DRS open, looking to attack the McLaren, heading out towards turn 11, but he's just not good enough the distance, he's just not got the grip in the tyres. But yeah, on the high-speed corners, look at the difference in pace. Going round the outside of 13. Can Psychic Taco make that? Unbelievable driving! Wow! What an overtake for Psychic Taco! Round the outside, and then right after that, Stewart lags in front of him. Typical. Ridiculous. Stupid. How are you supposed to commentate on that? It's absolutely pathetic.
Oh, and Stewart pits.
Well, that makes things a little bloody easier. As meanwhile, Psychic Taco in P3, looking to close the gap on the guys at the front. We've still got NMR Mr. Indigo out there. He's decided to go a couple of laps longer than XRL Bobbert, and TRL Button with quite a commanding lead now. Definitely in a chance of taking a fourth straight victory.
It's the difference between him and Taco. Taco's running net second, and that's about a 12-second lead.
Velocity's come out behind his teammate. Velocity is right behind his teammate in P4.
There we are, yeah,
no, P6, sorry. But look at that race going very, very wide at turn 4. T4 and P4, I got them mixed up. Heading into turn 6 to 7 here, and Velocity is a lot more confident, goes over the inside almost, and has to get out of the move completely at turn 8. Yes, I do apologise, viewers on Channel 2, for that little duel between Psychic Taco and Stewart B949. It was exciting. It was an overtaking a week, but apparently it doesn't count. DRS wide open for Velocity here, trying to get close to the back of Reese 26. Into turn 11. Oh, what was that? Velocity goes totally off the track there. Very ambitious move. In the words of Top Gear, ambitious but rubbish. Because that was nowhere near coming off.
Now he's got a waste a couple more laps to get right back up to his teammate Reese, who Reese is actually starting to close in on the car in front, the Ferrari of LGS.
Yeah, because XRL Roberts, meanwhile, the sister Ferrari, looking at the back of a thing that's Ian Unstoppable in the Williams. It is indeed, so he's doing a quiet race actually so far. Ian Unstoppable into the final corner there as XRL Roberts gets a better line than Ian Unstoppable, and he's going to get the DRS potentially here. He was close enough to the... Yeah, he has. And he's saved a bit of his curse. There's a great opportunity. And up ahead is a car leaving the pits. Who's that? Is that one of the Red Bulls? It's Mr. Indigo. It's going to be tight between these two. Into turn one. XRL Bobbers is going to have the better line through two. Can Bobbers slide around the outside? Yes, he can.
What a move.
And Ian Unstoppable is fancying a chance to get on the action here as well. Into turn four. And then Mr. Indigo just didn't quite do enough to be able to get out ahead of XRL Bobbers.
Well, that extra lap for Indigo has cost quite a bit because Bobbits has undercut him. And yeah, well, they're doing very well in P67. They've got a long way on their stint, and they're going to go a long way again because they're going on the primes. So you would think that they're trying to two-stop.
Well, we saw how long they went. They went 22 laps. So theoretically, that would put them in at lap 40 to 42. Oh, between 15 and 17 laps. That's touch and go on the option tyres. I'm not sure that's going to be too easy. But then again, we also saw XRL Fearless do a good time on his options.
Having said that, I mean, Indigo's done 22 laps on a qualifying set of prime tyres. That means he probably affords to do 18, 17 laps, maybe even more than that. He could go 22, 23 again, leave himself 11 laps again. He could easily do that.
That's theoretically possible as Race 26 has got the DRS on the back of LGS. He's not going to be close enough. Oh, maybe he is. LGS has lagged a little bit ahead of him, and now he's less than the car length ahead. Well, I wish I knew what was going on, viewers, but all the cars seem to be tripping over each other.
Fearless and in Unstoppable from P8 and 9 here. And Fearless should have the grip to take it on the inside.
Oh, Reese 26 lagging. Almost went into the back of LGS at turn 4. Just about avoids an accident. I don't know how, though. And yeah, this is quite bad now. We're getting a low line from Reese. His car is jumping about like a jackrabbit on a pogo stick at the moment. It's going to be difficult to keep connection here if that carries on.
And that's a move for Fearless. Very good one as well through the sweepers in the second sector. So he's now up into P8, starting to make some headway. His next driver to overtake.
Reese with DRS on the back of XRL LGS, heading towards turn 11. Thought about making a late-breaking move, thought better of it. LGS just about keeping the line for now, but he's going to be very vulnerable down towards turn 1. The lowest driver, Reese 26, has got a great opportunity here. Meanwhile, behind them, we've got a bit of a scrap going on between P6 and 7, and I believe that's XRL Bobbert and NMR Mr. Indigo. These two have been sewn together all race so far, and they're currently in no position to get away from each other.
But I think their strategy might see them climb a couple of places.
Well, it depends on... Oh, NMR Mr. Indigo has actually... Did he lag ahead? He has. He's lagged ahead of XRL Bobbert. And had the DRS as well. So while Bobbers has lost about a second and a half as a result of that. But this is getting ridiculous. How can you follow this? Where cars are getting a lot of moving, then bang, they're already ahead. What's the bloody point? That's Velocity looking at the back of the sister Lotus of Race 26, who's trying to close up to XRL LGS into turn 8. Velocity looking at a great opportunity here. Seconds out options. Oh, and now he's lagged, hitting the side of his teammate and going to P4. That's what's happened on my screen.
Because I've got Reese in P4, about a second and a half behind his teammate, and about half a second behind LGS. The three of them are closing in on each other.
Right, I'm out.
Be me next.
Message to Codemasters. Before the next game, fix your online!
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Grid Auto Sport is like, because, I mean, it's another Codemasters game, so the online should be no different. Oh, it's Reese. Thought he made a move there, but I believe that's LGS. He's just ghosted in front of him again. Keeps the position, and yeah, it is hard to keep an eye on what's actually going on. But Valexi's closing that gap on his teammate. These three now fighting for essentially the final place on the podium. Taco's got
You'd think the Codemasters would have used their own League of Leagues, where drivers were lagging out in qualifying and God knows what else, as a reference point to get it sorted. Absolutely unforgivable.
Essentially a really good idea, but it didn't work out quite like that. I mean, it was good to see as many fantastic quick drivers as that, but how you can showcase that sort of driving with the game as bad as it is.
Exactly, there are no words for it. I mean, people were saying on the actual stream saying it is. On the stream, it was Sir Clarkford saying, LOL, this is a shame, getting a bit embarrassing. Only a bit? Oh, it's Reese has lost connection!
Oh.
Well, need I say any more? So LGS now running in P3, and then XRL Bullets in P4, so the Ferraris in a very good position as NMR Mr. Indigo is catching up to XRL Roberts, and Velocity is catching up to the pair of them. I'm being told by Jamie2503 my connections are awful. Pot, kettle, black. Don't you dare tell me your connection's awful. The way you perform in GP2, you can't criticise anybody. As Mr. Indigo looks at pass on the inside of the Ferrari now, of XRL Bullets, but at the same time, Velocity almost had him in the Lotus, so close. And Velocity now heading towards turn 4, pulls out of the slipstream, going to be opportunity here, heading into the braking zone. Can he make the car get stopped in time? Is it going to be an undercut here from Mr. Indigo? Yes, it is. The Red Bull driver in a better line through the corner. Velocity heading into turn 8 in the Lotus, trying to catch up to Indigo, who gets a bit of wheel slip off the corner, heading towards the curbs. Definitely losing grip, these cars, as they head further into the race distance. Into turn 10, and Velocity, whoa, Velocity brushes the ball out of the inside. Manages to avoid taking it out, but that could have been a very expensive mistake.
So the SL 10 left on the track. 10, Stewart is the last of the 10. With 30 laps to go. One disconnect or two disconnects for Andy. Jambo retiring and Tom destroying his car. So not being great in terms of that, but hopefully everyone else should be able to finish.
In the meantime, now heading out towards turn 14 and 15 and 16. The end of the lap as Indigo looks at the back of XRL Bobbers. Oh, Velocity put his tyre on the outside curb there. Almost spun the car, but caught it expertly. But he's lost a lot of ground on the back of that Red Bull. Indigo, curiously, has not got DRS on the Ferrari. Heading around turn 1 as Mr. Indigo gets a little wide on the outside apex. And that's going to bring Velocity closer to him. But we do have a bit of field spread now, caused by all these incidents and lags. Lewis Hamilton in P8, meanwhile, for Sauber, trying to close as much as he can on the guys ahead of him. But the gaps have started to spread a little bit more consistently now, so we are seeing more control. And interestingly, the McLaren's bookending the points, because Stuart B949 is 10th, while TRL Button has got a big, big lead now. He's just coming up to the final corner, as Psychic Taco is only at turn 12. So this is going to be a gap of at least 10 to 15 seconds. Psychic Taco's doing well to hang in there. You can't take that away from him, but he's absolutely nowhere near the lead. XRL LGS, meanwhile, doing a commendable job in P3, hanging on to the back of Psychic Taco. What have you got?
What did you say was in third?
In third, LGS.
No, I might have it okay then, at the moment. Indigo, someone who's impressed me today.
He's drove quietly and well and done some good passing moves. Velocity in P6 meanwhile. Meanwhile, P7, XRL Fearless under pressure now, as Lewis Hamilton fancies a dive on the inside of turn 1. They're side by side. XRL Fearless got the title line through 2. They brush tyres on the outside and Hamilton has to surrender. But Hamilton's getting a bit frustrated being held behind that Red Bull. Now that Fearless has made his mistakes, Hamilton's not afraid of going toe-to-toe with him. And let's not forget that Hamilton is a former race winner. He was runner-up in last season's finale in the F1 division, so don't count him out for some good results. XRL Fearless getting a bit out of shape towards turn 8. And meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton getting a bit wide there at turn 8. Almost lost that. Just about held it together. Up ahead though, meanwhile, Velocity's closed the gap very much. On the back of NMR Mr. Indigo, DRS flap open down towards turn 11. Lines on the Red Bull, fancies about braking move. I'm not sure because his tyres, I don't see any lines on them, but if he has pits again, that's a very short period on that second set of primes.
Yeah, exactly. There's a long way to go if he's putting 2 options for 28 laps.
No, wait, there are some lines showing on the left rear tyre, so it might just start to hit the wearing phase. Honestly, I don't know how long ago his pit stop was. Indigo goes off the track briefly at turns 15 and 16, and Velocity's now got a great opportunity. Kerr's deployed, DRS flat wide open on the side of the Red Bull. Mr. Indigo starts to change division a little late there, well, Velocity's got ahead. Now, can he get the car stopped into the corner? And will he find himself under pressure from Fearless? Heading at Mr. Indigo, going for turn 2. No, Indigo has to back out on the move. But Indigo looking at the back of that Lotus and Velocity heading towards turn 4. Looking to get an attacking move through the outside here, but he's just not got the traction in the car. And Lewis Hamilton has indeed passed XRL Fearless. Fearless will not be happy about that.
Yeah, I think those options are starting to get towards the end of their tyre life now. Remember, he pit on about lap 16 or 17 because of that early wing break on his second stint, so that's going to cost him massively because it's just thrown his strategy completely.
It certainly has. Mr. Indigo.
Back there.
Indigo with a DRS flap over down towards turn 11, and ahead of him, Velocity right to the outside curve there. Not quite sure why you do that, but he just about manages to avoid spinning the car. But Indigo now has got a great opportunity to head through turns 12, 13, and now into 14. Indigo can only watch on as Velocity nearly smashes the inside ball out there, but just about avoids it. But Indigo now has got a great opportunity, half his curves bar available, and he should definitely be in DRS range. But Indigo clatters the inside bollard at the final corner. Only just avoids damaging the car. DRS deployed, Indigo looking at the back on the Lotus of X Velocity, heading down towards the first corner. Velocity might just be a bit too far ahead here on the brakes. Can he get a move? No, he can't. Velocity just retains position.
Indigo is able to compete with him though. Those tyres are reasonably fresh still. Remember, Indigo pitting, I think it was on lap 22. So they're only, 9 laps old, these tyres, so
they're in a good way. They'll be just about to start hitting the wearing phase in a couple of moments. Now the question is, can Indigo's tyres have a better grip than Velocity? Don't get Velocity now really needs to get a few more seconds up the road. But his problem is that he's got the Ferraris in his way. So he's going to be having the dirty air from the Ferraris, and he's got Indigo all over his diffuser. He's really pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place at the moment.
The thing is, all of these guys are so evenly matched that you can find pace in the clear air, but when you get behind someone.
Velocity's made a big mistake at turn 11, drove over the inside, kicked up a massive cloud of dust there, and then Mr. Indigo's now got an opportunity to attack the Lotus driver in the final sector, providing you hang it together as Indigo pushes the track limits as wide as he dares there at turn 14. Going to be an opportunity now for Indigo if he can just get a little closer in the final corner. It's all about being brave on the brakes, and he goes to the inside right to the curb. That's the bravest I've seen Indigo take that. He's taken that very, very well there. DRS will be available. Kerr's already deployed. There goes the flap. It's a great opportunity for Indigo to close up to Velocity down towards turn 1. The Lotus driver watches that. He's not yet made a defensive move, and Indigo is just not close enough. Heading for turns 2 and 3, and Indigo can only watch that Lotus He'll be getting more and more frustrated by the lap. Indigo does not need to be stuck behind this. Meanwhile, up ahead, we got an intra-team Ferrari battle that Tifosi will be out cheering this on, as XRL Bobbers is chasing behind XRL LGS for the bragging rights of who gets the podium position. Good out turn 8, XRL Bobbers sees
He's doing well. He's not letting Blexen get away, which is what I thought was going to happen. But yeah, that Ferrari battle, that's an interesting one because
XRL Bobbers has watched his teammate LGS defend right to the inside. He's almost gone over the white line. Are we going to see an inter-team play move here? I think LGS may have just got out of his way there. I think they decided to play a team order because that seemed all too easy for XRL Bobbers.
yeah, Bobbitt's the one who's got the pace at the moment. He's on significantly fresher prime tyres than LGS, but LGS's tyres should still have some meat to them. They're not exactly like proper off the cliff, so...
NMR Mr. Indigo's got to be careful. He keeps on what looks like cutting turn 13. Now, LGS has got DRS here on his teammate, and so is Velocity. So round the ball with a Lotus driver. Let's see how close he gets to the pair of the Ferraris here. DRS flat wide open, and he's already pushing the curves boost, trying to get close to the Ferraris, as LGS looks to defend for his teammate, NMR Mr. Indigo. Behind the back of Velocity is not close enough to attack, and XRL Bobbers retains third place.
Here goes Velexi now on LGS, running up to turn 3. 4.
Well, turn 4, yeah, XRL LGS. Looking around the outside, but if Velocity might have made a mistake and gone wide there, and actually this might open the door for Indigo into turn 5, but no, Indigo's just not quick enough to catch up. This reminds me so much of when Schumacher and Webber had their battle on the drying track at Canada in 2011, where Webber kept going off the track, and Jenson Button swept by the pair of them. Also, Velocity looking to go on the inside of turn 10. Oh, collision between himself and LGS. And Airmo, Mr. Indigo, drives round the outside of the Lotus driver. Velocity down to P6 now. Bit of an amateur mistake there from Velocity. That was definitely a disappearing wedge, and he should have backed out of that move. That's cost him 2 places.
Yeah, now Indigo can have a look at that Ferrari and try and keep following Bobbitt, who he's been in battle with pretty much the whole race. Only really since about the last 2 or 3 laps has Bobbitt's got away from Indigo.
Indigo's got a really good drive on the back of that Ferrari there, heading down towards the final corner.
He's got a good drive out of the final corner. He picks up the traction well.
He should breeze past LGS here. Now the question is he going to be followed through by Velocity in the Lotus? Because he might use the Indigo as a DRS assisting move here. Velocity attacks the Ferrari of LGS. LGS defends to the outside. They touch wheels. LGS has to give up the move after turning in. But at the same time, he tries to attack back for 2 and 3. LGS is not giving up.
I'm surprised that there was no side pod glitch at the exit of that corner. Both of them wheel to wheel on the exit T1.
And side pods to wheel more like. As NMR Mr. Indigo has known the big pressure from Velocity, going through the high-speed sweepers of 5, 6 and 7, but Velocity's just not got the way through there into turn 8 and up the hill towards Peanut turn 9, and sets you up for the tight turn 10, and we see so many drivers making mistakes here. Velocity can't afford to get the red mist and make a critical error now as he hits the bollard as I say that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can't take out the bollard and you can't go straight on. It's a killer to your race. LGS behind the Lotus driver. Velocity going for turn 11 has got slightly better traction here as he looks to the back of NMR Mr. Indigo. Meanwhile, LGS goes all 4 tyres over the white line at turn 13 there. Evidently his prime tyres have started to go. Now, if he started on the options, he'll probably be okay to go in for a pit stop very shortly. Then we'll get into the end of the race. Be interested to see if that's a winning strategy. Meanwhile, speaking of pit lane, who's that on pit row at the moment? Psychic Taco. Psychic Taco in the Mercedes is coming out of the pits on the prime tyres. So he's now down to P7. Ex-Lewis Hamilton goes through. So that's critical for the podium as to where Psychic Taco feeds out through all of this.
He's got a big enough gap to the people that he's backing against, though. Him and Butler quite a way ahead of anyone else. It's this fight for third, which is the most important one, with NMR Mr. Indigo, Bobbitt's and Stewart's retired, so...
That's very strange. He's not. He would have got a single point if he'd have finished. You know, at the end of the day, points mean something. I'm surprised he's given that up. Obviously, was feeling a bit aggrieved at the back of the pack, but needless to say, there's no reason to give up. He showed solid pace in qualifying in the opening laps. I don't know why he didn't just try and hold it together.
It'll be interesting to see how he does tomorrow night. Him and Taka will be taking, and Ian Unstoppable will be racing tomorrow. So this is valuable track time. It's like an extra. It's just like an extra testing session for these guys.
It is indeed.
Races tomorrow night.
Well, Velocity now looking at the back of Edamar Mr. Indigo, going through turn 13, and Velocity trying to get as close as he can to the back of that Red Bull to give him a great chance down towards turn 1. But Velocity's just lost a bit of ground there. He didn't seem to get good traction at all. And going off the final high-speed corner, yeah, you can hear the wheels really spinning up as he hits the end of the rev range at the high end of the torque curve. And that's going to be costing him a lot of grip. But even so, the overspeed on the DRS is absolutely colossal. And then Mr. Indigo can only watch. But into turn 1, can Indigo defend around the outside as a big mistake happens with Velocity? Almost loses the car. But Indigo's just not got the traction to fight back in the Red Bull. But now look how close he is to the back here of Velocity in the Lotus. A great opportunity for Indigo to get back through.
I've got something different now.
Until he makes a mistake and goes wide and gets marbles on his tyres at turn 4. And any moment Mr. Indigo's lost about. Oh, and now we've lost Bernie again as he's gone for a different race. As I say, we keep on getting different feeds. How are we supposed to keep each other in the loop? It's so difficult. But anyway, Mr. Indigo now has lost a bit of ground here on Velocity, down in P4. Now, Indigo might be thinking about maybe trying to do a subtle undercut here if he can. But then again, he is possibly committed to the 2-stop, and he'll therefore need to get at least 5 or 6 laps more out of these tyres if he wants his options to go to the end. As we move further back through the field, we've got XRL, Jess and P5 after all the shenanigans he got caught up in. And ex-Lewis Hamilton has been fighting a quiet, consistent race here. He's in P6 in the Sauber, hasn't really set the field alight in terms of anything, but he's done the one most important thing. Keep the car on the track and keep out of trouble. And Psychic Taco, meanwhile, is now down in P7 behind both Hamilton and LGS, so he's actually stuck behind a duel. And the last thing Taco needs is to get stuck behind 2 warring cars and find himself off the podium via an undercut. Indeed, looking at Hamilton, he's got the DRS wide open on the back of XRL LGS and the Ferrari. LGS defends to the middle of the track like he did down towards turn 13 in China. And once again, he's able to find the grip there. You could call it, many people would say, and Hamilton nearly spins the car out of 2 and 3. And Taco goes, thank you very much. That makes my life a hell of a lot easier. And he goes through to take P6. And meanwhile, up ahead, there's another car off the track. Who was that? LGS in P5?
Alexi went off the track. He was running, I think, P3.
He was ahead of Indigo. So Indigo's now got ahead, and LGS is not far behind, nor critically is Psychic Taco. So Psychic Taco and the Mercedes looking to attack the Ferrari driver, getting into the dirty air, down towards turn 9 and 10. He can't afford. Oh, he's almost going to the back of LGS. So much more confident on the brakes there, Taco, on the rash option rubber. And the fresh tyres are giving him all the grip in the world. DRS open, and he blasts past LGS like he's not even there. So Psychic Taco now in P5, looking at the back of Velocity, who's not too far adrift of Indigo. So Psychic Taco, via this pit stop, has got himself right into the front running opportunity here to get a really strong result for Mercedes. Of course, the big question to ask is, how much would Ice Cold Andy have affected this race if he'd have been able to join?
I think his pace wasn't good enough, if I'm honest. From what I've heard, he would have been in the pack with all these guys, possibly by second.
I think Hamilton's has gone into the pit. And LGS has DRS on Psychic Taco. Well, this would be cheeky. Well, he's just not got the pace there. Actually, he stops the car. Evidently, LGS doesn't want to get involved with these people. He's playing more like an LMP2 strategist against an LMP1 car. Try and get out of the way, don't let them hold you up too much, and finish ahead in class. That's the way that LGS seems to be driving today. But it's worked for him so far. You can't take that away from him.
Definitely.
As we head through the S's at turns 5, 6 and 7, Psychic Taco getting a decent line there, and Velocity now is only about 1.5 seconds ahead of him. Taco deploying his curves. He's evidently all-out attack here. Taco doesn't want to be strategizing and waiting for these guys to pit. He wants to blast past them and get on with it. No DRS available to him though. He's just out of detection range. Heading into turn 11, Psychic Taco gets a bit too close to the inside curve there, but just about keeps it going. And heading down through turns 12 and 13, Taco has seen the gap extend a little bit. I'm surprised by that, because I thought on the fresher tyres they've got all the grip in the world to really close that down. So down towards turn 15 and 16, into the inside curve there, both guys pushing the absolute maximum. And Taco now, will he have DRS there? I'm not sure he will.
No,
indeed he doesn't, he's not close enough. That's the last thing Taco needs. The last thing he needs is someone like Velocity, someone like NMR Mr. Indigo, who's stopping later than him, holding him up. But at the same time, you can't argue Velocity's really doing that, because if he's not getting into the DRS range, Taco's not being held up.
Exactly.
Going over the inside turn 4, and Taco now has visibly closed the gap there. Evidently his car's suitably set up for sector 1. As into this chicanes of 5, 6 and 7 here, and Taco seems to ride the curves a bit better than Velocity. Velocity hanging it right over the ragged edge here. We've got the hill after turn 8 into our turn 9 and 10. There's been section line for DRS. Surely Taco's got the flap now. There it goes, and he's not deployed his curves. Taco evidently not thinking this is a long enough straight to attack here, as once again Velocity does that strange tactic. Oh! And he almost shot, that was mightily close from Taco there. How did Taco avoid damaging that Lotus? You saw Velocity sticking his tyres onto the dirt. I don't see why you'd do that.
He does like to do that just to get the wide line so he can get on the power a little bit earlier.
Oh, mistake for Velocity. He hit the outside curb and has gone off the track, and he's lost his front wing. Well, Velocity now has seen his race hopes evaporate. XRL Fearless in the Red Bull gives him a little sarcastic wave as he goes past. A wiggle of the tyres as well, if you watch that there. He's obviously very happy about where he's come. That's rubbing salt into the wound, and Velocity has decided he's had enough and has retired.
What happened to Velocity? Why is he retired?
He spun on the final corner and smashed his front wing. And I think it was the fact that behind him, XRL Fearless weaved across the start-finish line as if it was the checkered flag, rubbing salt into the wound there as he went past him. Going over the inside line, NMR Mr. Indigo chasing after the Ferrari of XRL Bobbitt, I believe, who's in P2 and on for a very strong finish here. He's done a very good race so far, but TRL Button, he's got this race massively under control. He's on fresh prime tyres and has got a gap of at least 15 seconds. That's absolutely colossal. He can afford to put the fuel down and take it nice and easy.
Bit disappointing that only 8 people are on the track at the moment. Still 17 more laps after this one to do. I mean,
exactly, who knows what's going to happen, because we may see more drivers make the same mistakes.
I know it is Bahrain. Bahrain is one of those. 2 people lost connection, one's crashed. Who else? We had a couple of people retire. Jambo, Velexi. So, I mean, yeah.
Look, Velocity crashed and lost his front wing. XRL Fearless crashed. He's kept going. He's now in P5. And he's about 5 seconds adrift of Psychic Taco.
It's nice to see someone like NMR Mr. Indigo up there fighting for big points.
XRL Bobbitt too. Both NMR Mr. Indigo and XRL Bobbitt.
Those two are starting to close in on one another again as well. And they've been fighting it out pretty much the whole race on and off. They'll be fighting probably for 3rd place because Taco is on much pressure tyres in front. But at the same time, The cars in front, who are Bobbits and Indigo, are going to have option tyres at the end, whereas Taco are going to be on
And
old,
these guys are now in their pit stop window. If these guys
Yep.
can go on to like 43 or 44, they could be extremely dangerous, because in those final laps, these tyres will be absolutely smouldering with pace, whereas the likes of Psychic Taco, we're feeling their tyres drift away from them. But Taco's actually kept his tyre life quite strong here, because he's not too far adrift of either of them. Although his car's doing a very strange thing at the moment, where I'm hearing the engine constantly sounding like it's gearing up all the time. Very odd.
Well, tomorrow night you'll be watching, as I said, Taco will be one of those drivers racing around. Yeah, what do you make of the GP2 season so far?
Well, the GP2 season, as far as I can, what I can recall of it, there have been some very close races on battle. There's been a few dodgy pieces of driving, but we've had that from all divisions, unfortunately, and it's something that has to be stamped out over time. It's been a good series of battles up the front, and we've seen a lot of different drivers able to bring the pace on different days. So it's a division that's been well worth watching. Both F1 and GP2 have been up there, but to be fair, going further down the field, there's a mistake from XRL Bobbert, and Indigo smashed into him. And Bobbert has gone so far off the track, before turns 8, he's literally stuck in the gravel. Oh, now he's lagged back in front before turn 9 and 10. Typical.
The gap's about half a second, just over half a second. He hasn't
Yeah,
actually
it
got
is.
the DRS though. He hasn't got DRS.
Again, I think that's that strange glitch. I think that strange glitch had his car ahead in the DRS zone, DRS detection area. So when Mr. Indigo, over a brown trousers moment there, as he started, oh, no, he's lagging too. Don't do this. We're in the final leg of the race. Stop it. And then Mr. Indigo, providing that's where his car is looking at the back of XRL Bobbert into the final corner and brakes very, very early, and then takes a long time to get on the gas there. I don't know if you got that, but it was almost like his car had stalled. And again, no DRS for Psychic Taco, even though he's less than a second behind. This is very, very dodgy now. Oh, and now all of a sudden, Mr. Indigo's lagged ahead of XRL Bobbert.
Yeah.
Right, back in a few moments.
I reckon I'll have to do it once more before the end of the race is out, that's for sure. Thing is, I got a message from LGS when he was in the pits by a text saying, so I texted him to say, we're not using buttons host again, because it is literally every week that we do get this. And he was like, well, if you stop leaving and joining the games, and the connection will be better. But we have to leave. This is absolutely awful. We don't know what's happening.
Well, I'm not having it where I'm commentating on a duel between two Lotuses for 3rd and 4th, and then you've got them both in 7th and 8th. That's happened before, and it's frustrating and annoying, and we get all the people complaining about who's got the real footage. Also, how are we supposed to do stewards reports where if we've got two completely different footage things that show completely different things going on? You don't get that in real F1, do you?
Exactly. So fingers crossed, I haven't actually had to write down anything in this race. It has been a decent race, bar, people who lost connection by,
There has been a few people pushing the corner limits a little bit much. That might be something for the stewards to pay attention to, looking back over it. But aside from that, there's been no really serious incidents. Not really, apart from accidents where they spun. We're not really seeing anyone actually hitting each other off. So fingers crossed, coming back in for the final time with any luck, providing I don't get the black loading screen of death, which means I don't get anything.
Right, so Bobbert has just pit. Indigo was closing that gap, and Bobbert's decided to pit now. I think
Taco's made a move! Taco's gone up the inside of Mr. Indigo! Taco's gone past him, and into turn 4, he's now in P2. And Mr. Indigo is in real danger here, because if Taco holds him up through the slower chicane sections, he's going to get easily undercut.
Yeah, but he did this in the first stint. He went one lap longer than Bobbert. And yeah, he got done on the undercut, and that's why he was behind it pretty much the whole race. So I don't understand it. I mean, he may as well have pit at the same time as Bobbert, because he's just going to lose a few seconds, unless he wants that open road.
Okay, well, Dryer Crane, you're accusing me of complaining like a grandpa and get a new connection. 2 words for you. 50 megabyte fiber optic. Deal with it. There's nothing wrong with my connection. The fact is that everybody's been lagging out. Because if it's my connection, why has Dan Fish been getting on his stream as well on Channel 1?
Everyone has bad connection. I think that's what it is.
All I'll say is if you don't like it, there's the door, don't let it hit on the way out. Going through the final corner, NMR Mr. Indigo getting on the gas as quickly as he can, trying to get close to the back of tackle, but he's going into the box. Now this is going to be where we'll have to pay attention to the Ferrari of XRL Bobbers and see where he comes out. Fearless has just gone around the final corner now. Bobbers on the option tyres is just starting the final turn. How close is he going to be to the third place man, Mr. Indigo?
It's going to be close. Very close. No.
XRL Bobbers on the pitch straight. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think anymore Mr. Indigo is going to find himself behind him. Indeed, there he goes.
So the lap that Indigo did was not bad. Because Bobbers has barely found that much time at all. Bobbers was in
Are we going to see a case where Bobbers' tyres might hit the cliff and Indigo steals it at the last second?
Well, that extra lap of freshness on the tyres, they won't hit the cliff. 12 laps is well within the amount because we saw people do 17, 18 in the first stint of the race. So we know that 12 laps is fine. It's just, well, I don't know. Maybe Indigo's one lap fresher tyres might be able to give him a few temps here and there.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things you've got to watch out for. Because going through the final laps, we've got the high-speed essays, we've got the tight turn 10. If you've got a slightly better wear rate and slightly better pace in those tyres, you might find yourself able to literally blast past in the final couple of corners. And we've seen that in real life. I mean, we wind the clock to 2012, for instance, Australia, when we saw Paul de Resta sneak a point out of Jean-Eric Verne on the final corner at Albert Park. It has been done before. Then Mr. Indigo he's actually losing ground to Bobbers. Bobbers seems to be able to get his tyres up to speed earlier than him. The extra lap that Bobbers did by undercut, he's the last lap, sorry, he's got the tyres warmed and in the optimum condition now. Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, doing a very good job down in P6. Again, keeping it quiet, doing really well. Meanwhile, TRL Williams says 12 laps at the least. I'm guessing that's a guess for the option tyres. That's on the screens there from TRL Williams. I assume that's your guess for what the option tyres wear should be, and I'd agree. We did see some guys doing 13 or 14 on the qualifying set, but obviously you're trying to avoid pushing as hard as possible when you're trying to really attack in the final part of the race.
Yeah, Bobbers has really started to open that gap. I mean, Indigo's just going to be able to live with him since the pit stop. Even this lap, he's just losing a little bit of time. But we have noticed that Indigo seems to find his time at the end of a stint. So
exactly. So, I mean, he's someone to keep an eye out for if the gap doesn't get too big. Meanwhile, Tiara Button just starts lap 47 now, and I'd say that gap is quite considerable. Yeah, that's a huge gap. That's about 20 seconds. He's really far ahead here. Meanwhile, Righteous Tax says, evening Swish, and Jordan says hello. He personally thinks your connection's fine. Well, I'm glad that someone does. So Psychic Taco at B2 goes off the track at turn 15 and 16 there. But XRL Fearless, he's doing a quiet job actually. And if he gets his tyres to last, could he steal the podium here?
You would think not, just on the basis that there's only about 4 or 5 seconds lead with 11 laps to go, and the other guys are brand new tyres. You never know what could happen. I mean, the curbs or anything like that. Indigo looks like he's gained a slight bit this lap.
Yeah, he has closed the gap a little bit. Maybe by a tenth or two. Well, he's got to avoid this seesawing effect where he gets a tenth and then Bobbers gets a tenth. That's the last thing he wants. As a driver, you want to be consistently clawing the gap, visibly reducing it and applying the pressure. When you keep seesawing the gap line, the pressure just keeps toing and throwing, and that's the last thing you want. But we've seen a few times now that Bobbers has gone a little wide at turn 4, going really close to running onto the old track there. So he keeps making mistakes like that. This could well go back the way of Indigo in about 4 or 5 laps' time.
Come on guys, Channel 1, Channel 2, whoever one you're watching, comment in the chat box, who do you think is going to win between these two for this final, well, what could be the final podium spot? I mean, Fearless has currently got it, but can he hold on?
Looking at Fearless's gap actually, I don't think it's much different between the gap between Indigo and Bobbert. Maybe about another half a second. Now, if these two really push each other to really attack and put their best pace in, both of them will be catching up to the back of XRL Fearless's Red Bull. But still, credit to XRL Fearless. Went into the pit, started his second stint, made that mistake, smashed the wall, had to do about a third of a lap with no front wing, and has managed to get back to fighting for the podium. Whereas the guys like Velocity and all that have fallen away.
They just stopped racing. They couldn't do it. Fearless is stuck in it.
DRS flap over from Indigo. Indigo is now in the DRS zone. So this is where battle is now fully joined, because Indigo's going to gain about 15 kilometers per hour on that main straight down the pits. So that's going to give a great opportunity for Indigo. But Sir Clarkford reckons that Bobbert will just hold on to it. Well, we've seen all race that both Bobbert and Indigo have raced wheel to wheel with each other. Pretty hard, hair-raising stuff. Who knows, we might get a repeat of Senna and Mansell at Monaco in 92 here, with these two really pushing each other on in the final dying laps. CRO Williams, he's been very diplomatic, he just says anything can happen. Well, ask Velocity. He's staring at the barrel of a second or third place, then boom, final corner, and he's rowing his chassis off.
That gap is really narrowed now. Look at that, DRS over for Indigo. The thing is, I think Fearless could be the one who decides this. He could say...
Interestingly, Fearless's gap has remained constant. I think because Indigo has started attacking Bobbert has started to be a bit defensive, and as a result of that, it's really falling away from the pace of Fearless. We're down into the final 9 laps now, so if these guys keep tripping over each other 4 or 5 laps more, and wear these option tyres excessively, Fearless may well hang on. But anyway, Mr. Indigo is lining up. XRL Bobbert pulls back into the slipstream to avoid being let through and counter DRS down towards turn 1. And that gap is very short. Curse deployed over the DRS line. This is Indigo's best chance all race to get past XRL Bobbert. He pulls out of the slipstream and he's going to have the high ground down towards turn 1. But can he get the car stopped in time? Can XRL Bobbert fight back?
No, he can't.
No, he can't.
And there you go. Can he now close in on Fearless?
Oh, look at XRL Bobbert! He's attacking straight away! Curse deployed a turn 3 round to turn 4! And that's masterful for XRL Bobbert! Can he keep the position through this tight corner? Can he find the traction? He can! XRL Bobbert, masterful overtaking there! Catching his opponents out, using the act of surprise!
I did not see that coming. He must have used quite a lot of curves. Yeah, he's used half, so... Well, just under half, so yeah, he's done a very good job there.
That sets up Mr. Indigo for the strategy that CRO Williams is saying on the chat box on my channel, where he says keeping his curves till the end of the lap. Well, you're the place where you use it. You've got the lowest drag. You're going to be attacking off the slightly faster final corner, which is better than the turns of turn 11 and turn 10. So it's a great opportunity to get maximum momentum and attack. And that's exactly what Mr. Indigo seems to be relying on. But XRL Bobbert has thrown great fights here today to be keeping himself in this. But the real credit goes to XRL Fearless, who's still in a podium-paying position.
Not getting that drive out of that final corner like
I don't think he needs it though, because look at the distance already between them, and knows he's got the DRS, and that's the difference in overspeed. That's the extra 15 kilometers per hour that you get from the DRS. But XRL Bobbert tries the alternative line through 1, and what defensive driving that was! Magnificent to go right round the outside, absolutely superb.
Well, laps are running out. Fearless still has it. 7 more laps. Fearless still has it.
On the streaming wall, Sir Clarkford says, it's a shame to see Bobbert not going a bit more defensive into turn 1, but if you come back like that, then fair play, and this could be Hamilton versus Rosberg. Well, them two showed all race how you can go wheel to wheel very closely into the likes of turns 1, 2 and 3, so don't be surprised to see Indigo and also XRL Bobbert emulating that, art imitating life.
I like Pastor Mountain, aren't they?
Do we really have to talk about him? I've got better things to do, like paint a horse. But in the meantime, Mr. Indigo going for turns 12 and 13 into 14, and XRL Fearless now is visibly getting into range. So all of a sudden, XRL Fearless is falling into the clutches. This could be close here between these guys. And the Mr. Indigo gap is slightly more reduced than the last lap. So if you can get ahead of XRL Bubbers, he might just retain it. XRL Bubbers defends, Kerr's already deployed, and Mr. Indigo uses the DRS. Oh, and Bubbers defends to the inside line. He's now going aggressive in his defence. Indigo tries to go around the outside. XRL Bubbers takes the switch into turns 2 and 3. And once again, the Ferrari denies the Red Bull as XRL Fearless goes off the track at turn 3. And now Mr. Indigo and XRL Bullets are both going to line up the Red Bull into turn 4. XRL Fearless is not giving up though. Mr. Indigo, is he going to have the traction to get past his teammate into turn 5? This is going to be minorly close, but Mr. Indigo just makes that stick. Right, just start asking on the stream, have we had any lagouts? Lots.
Well, no, I wouldn't say lots. I would say just Reese and Andy, the two lagouts. Jambo retired. Tom Streetcar. Complexity retired, really, didn't he? So, what's that?
Mr. Indigo looking at DRS down towards turn 11. Maybe he's trying to attack at a different point here. And XRL Bubbers, a little surprised by that, went a little wide at 12. And through 13, Mr. Indigo is stapled to the back of that diffuser of that Ferrari. Heading into turn 14. Oh, Mr. Indigo going all the white lines over. But then again, so does XRL Bubbers. Mr. Indigo has got more speed than XRL Bubbers. And Bubbers, he's planning to try and let him through and have the DRS there, and Indigo's wise to that and lets it and sticks with him, but look at how close he is. Mr. Indigo's best chance is surely now. Interestingly, he didn't use all his Kerrs though. Mr. Indigo had Kerrs left. And hang on, he's not attacking the Ferrari. Did you get on your screen?
I've got something completely different. I'll actually just follow it. I don't want to leave again, but I know mine's wrong now. As of about a lap or two ago, I thought mine started to go wrong. So, yeah, seeing as it's 5.
Well, Mr. Indigo looking at the back of XRL Bubbets through turns 5, 6 and 7. And Bubbets has actually got decent traction there. Mr. Indigo is suddenly starting to fall back here. I wonder if he's got some kind of thermal degradation or something like that which is losing him grip. Because it seems mysterious that he'd start falling away now. Especially since he pitted later. DRS flat wide open, heading out towards turn 11. Mr. Indigo looking at the back of the Ferrari of XRL Bubbets, but Bubbets is resisting. There really is a case here of the unstoppable force and the immovable object going toe to toe here, because these guys are not letting each other get away. Oh, and as I say, that XRL Bubbets loses it at turn 13, but he manages to avoid damaging the car. Now XRL Bubbets has become the hunter. And now towards turn 1, has Bubbets got DRS? Yes, he has. So the Ferrari driver's got an opportunity here to attack the back of the Red Bull of Mr. Indigo into turn 1. Indigo's just got the gap at the moment, but goes a little wide at turn 1. As a result, XRL Bubbets has got a chance to attack through turn 3, down towards turn 4. He's going to have the better line here. He's going to have a bit of slipstream as well. Heading in towards turn 4. Is he going to be close enough to attack that Ferrari to the back of the Red Bull? No, he's just not close enough at this time. Oh, meanwhile, XRL Bubbets has actually got past Mr. Indigo at turn 8. I was actually reading a message from one of the people who sent me that, and Lewis Hamilton is now retired. Why? There's 5 laps to go. What is the point?
It'll be interesting to see what he has to say, but I mean, what was the point? The man would get the points and score because I found out to retire for no good reason, then we don't score. So, what's the point?
Well, in the meantime, I had a message there from BHA Cap and Waiter saying it's good to see and hear XR. Over the rugged edge here. They're leaving nothing on the track. Hamilton, what caused the retirement?
Spun out on corner 10. Yeah,
Well,
reverse. put in the reverse by accident and then raced over, really.
Well, I mean, you still would have got points by completing. By retiring, you're not going to get any points at all. I mean, were you that far back after the accident?
Yeah. I was genuinely struggling with this Sauber ever since the start of the season. I just can't find any. I can't get used to it. So nervous, Sauber.
Join the club.
I just can't. Yeah, I just can't deliver. I mean, last year I fucking sorry, what language? It's challenging.
Yeah, please don't swear. We have sponsors.
Yeah. The last year I was challenging the championship, and this year I was just challenging what, 8th even. I just can't.
This
drop
track's
the field.
Spare a fourth for Ice Cold Andy. He was your champion last season, and he's behind you in the table. There's at least some small sport from that. As then Mr. Indigo goes past under DRS to turn 11 to take provisional P3 as we've got 4 laps to go.
Yeah, I just can't. To be honest, I don't see myself challenging anywhere near top 5 this season whatsoever. That Sauber, I just can't do it. It's too heavy and lack of downforce. If I put too much wing on there, that would be really even more slower because of the downforce. Just push it down and just go even slower.
Yeah,
So.
you want that.
Sorry to kind of crash your back. XRL Bollocks has got DRS. He's deployed his curves down towards turn 1. Gets pushed close to the pit wall there by Enema Mr. Indigo. But fair's fair. Can he get the car stopped into turn 1? Enema Mr. Indigo might have a chance to dive underneath him here. But Indigo's just not got the power or the traction in that Red Bull. And as a result of that, it's down to P4 for now. But we've still got 3 laps to go. And these guys are literally going at it hammer and tongs to the end of the race.
Oh, I missed that Red Bull.
Saying now,
to be honest, I'd rather go on Toro Rosso than Sauber. Honestly, it's that shockingly bad to drive.
Well, I mean, commiserations to fail now. I mean, do you have any hope to get better points in the European season?
No, I've got no hope whatsoever in this car.
Well, hopefully you can plug away and get the pace in the car. Commiserations and thank you for your comments.
Don't worry.
Indigo, meanwhile, will again get close to the back of XRL Bollocks off turns 11, 12 and 13 into 14, and oh, he almost went into the back of Bollocks' Ferrari there. Evidently, these guys are very nervous. They're right at the end of the grip line for these tyres as they're both pushing each other like mad into the final corner. Indigo gets out of the gas on purpose to stay as close as he can to the Ferrari, and look at that. There's literally no distance between them. There goes the curves coming up to the DRS line. You'd expect Enema Mr. Indigo to blast past, but XRL Bollocks defends to the middle of the track, taking a leaf out of his teammate's book there. LGS would have been proud of that one, but XRL Bollocks, dives on the inside. Has he managed to retain it? Oh, he hits the bollard, and Enema Mr. Indigo has to take evasive action as we're on to the penultimate lap here, and Enema Mr. Indigo's running out of time to take that final podium position.
right, I want to watch this now. I'm sorry, I can't. It's getting close. I'm going to join back and watch these last couple of laps.
Going into turns 5, 6 and 7, Enema Mr. Indigo has got a lead of about half a second, but we've seen here that Enema Mr. Indigo sees slightly better in the high-speed corners coming out at the end of the lap. So this is where Enema Mr. Indigo, makes a bit of a hash at turn 8, almost spins the car, catches it and loses maybe 2/10 there. As we're heading to turn 10, taking the inside line, gets a little wide on the curb, loses a bit of traction there, but there goes the DRS flap. He's deployed half his curves bar. He's not going to be close enough to attack into turn 11, but if he can get a good run through 12, 13 and 14, he might well have a chance down to turn 1, which will be pretty much his final chance to attack. Into turn 14, getting on the inside line there, Indigo trying his very, very best to attack that Ferrari. He almost wants to go side by side through the final DRS line if he can, but he's just not close enough to do that. Into the final corner, XRL Bollocks takes the wider line, Indigo takes the tighter line. Here we go, final time over the start-finish straight for the final time here in Sakir, Bahrain. DRS flat line up, a little bit of lag there from Indigo. Side by side with Bollocks, there's literally nothing between them. As they go out towards turn 1, Bollocks has got the inside line. Indigo locks up, they push tyres. Indigo tries to push Bollocks by. They're still pushing tyres and they're still side by side through turns 2 and 3. But Indigo manages to resist as we head down towards turn 4. These two battling for the final podium position. position here. Anyway, Mr. Indigo taking the tighter, wider line at first, trying to go underneath for turns 5, 6, and 7. And anyway, Mr. Indigo attacking Boris. Oh, he has to get on the brakes there. Boris gets the better line through 5 and 6. And you think that's pretty much game over unless there's a mistake later in the lap. Anyway, Mr. Indigo, oh no, you've got to be kidding me! You have to be kidding me! XRL Fearless steals it on the final lap in the most arbitrary and nonsense ways. In fact, is XRL Fearless going to pull over here? Is XRL Fearless going to let his teammate through? No, he's not. CRL Button takes victory. And how were we denied that? That should have been a checkered flag scrap. What a disappointment to see it end like that.
My head's in my hands. I can't believe that, Predator Mr. Indigo. He's going to be gutted. That was the third
Who can blame him? He's gone from potentially 15 points down to 10 through absolutely no fault of his own. XRL, yes, and P6 meanwhile has actually got Ian Unstoppable not too far behind him. Ian Unstoppable may yet steal a couple more points here, but he's not got the DRS on the Ferrari. As led down towards turn 11, he's saved a bit of his cursor. Ian Unstoppable, he might yet steal some more points from the established Ferrari veteran XRL LGS.
Well, Indigo got let through by Fearless in the last corner.
I had a feeling he might do that to be a bit sporty, and that was good about XRL Fearless to do that. But at the same time, Ian Unstoppable meanwhile, he's attacking XRL LGS. LGS might have thought his 6th place was his for the taking. Ian Unstoppable thinks more of it. He's got the inside line, and Ian Unstoppable almost pushing LGS off the track. They're side by side. That's what's turned down. LGS gets the better traction, DRS, but it's not enough.
Unlucky there, you have to.
Well, what a way to end the race. Wow.
And it could have been a lot more if Indigo and Bobbits had their way.
Absolutely incredible, unbelievable driving, but what a disappointment for it to end like that. All the ways for us to lose it. Absolutely shocking. So we're just setting the guys their chance here. So Button, initially you had a bit of a close fight with XRL Fearless in quite.
I think, I don't know, it was a yes or a no really. I thought Fearless would have been up in the podiums today.
Yeah, I mean obviously Fearless had his wing compromised his pitch strategy. But even so, I mean, you were still being pushed mightily hard. The likes of XRL Bobbits and Mr. Indigo suggested that they might be knocking on the door towards the later stages. Were you worried about that? Or once you heard that Fearless was in trouble, did you think the race was yours for the taking?
Once I